Domestic Violence by Jemiah Suggs. According to ProjectSanctuary.org, 20 people per minute are victims of physical violence by an intimate partner in the United States. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner within their lifetime. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 18 men have experienced stalking victimization during their lifetime, leaving them feeling fearful for themselves and others. Domestic violence only happens to women is a myth. It happens to both men and women alike. Drugs, alcohol, stress, and mental illness are not the main cause of domestic violence, although in some occurrences, these are some leading factors. According to World Health Organization, 1 in 3 women, around 736 million, are subjected to physical or sexual violence by an intimate partner or sexual violence from a non-partner. This violence begins early. 1 in 4 young women, ages ranging from 15 to 24 years old, have been in a relationship and experience violence by an intimate partner by the time they reach their mid-20s. Fear. According to thehighcourt.com, 275 million children are exposed to domestic violence worldwide. Now, even if they're just witnesses, children are victims too. It's imperative to prevent the young ones from getting exposed to abuse in order to sustain their healthy development. Since domestic abuse victims tend to abuse other people, this vicious cycle will continue in the future if the current generation isn't protected. I remember when I was a child, my mother experienced abuse from multiple relationships. She eventually left those abusive partners. While seeing her crying and hurting, I felt helpless. I can still remember the feeling I had when I saw my mother crying after the fights. My heart felt as if it were weighed down into the lowest realm of my being. Now that I am a mother too myself, I had to make the tough decision to leave my abusive husband. I left with no material possessions, no car, no house, no money, and absolutely no idea of how I was going to provide for my daughter and I. I felt lost, and once again, I had the same feeling of helplessness. I moved back in with my parents at the age of 24. I felt ashamed. A partner in a healthy relationship responds to problems by talking. According to thehighcourt.com, battered women who stay with their abusers are at a 75% less risk of getting killed by them. Their home isn't a safe place for them, but leaving, ironically, puts their lives at a greater risk. The police spend a third of their time answering domestic violence related calls. Organizations like the National Domestic Violence Hotline help provide victims with ample support without putting them into a tight spot. Anxiety. I had a feeling of contentment when I left him. After that time, he lived in another state. Once he moved back to the same state, I immediately got anxious. Remaining nice and humble, all I could do. I was afraid of him and what he would do once he got too high or too drunk, pretending to be okay so he would not retaliate against me. The constant thought in my mind was, but he knows where I live. Fear. 9 in 10 female domestic abuse victims go through extreme emotional distress. More than 47% of them deal with PTSD, 20% get depressed, and over 14% live with anxiety. If you are ever faced with any form of domestic violence, whether it's from a partner, friend, or family, please seek help. No one deserves to endure violent